By now, if you've been watching gymnastics on USA, you're familiar with the National Academy, the Parkettes, the Burkes, and the Marvatines, and the fabulous tradition that these teams represent and their place in gymnastics in the United States. Good evening, everybody. I'm Al Troutwig, along with John Troietta, and tonight in Reading, Pennsylvania, the grand finale of the 1983 USAIGC National Team Championship. It's the Final Four battling to see if somebody, anybody, can unseat the National Academy after they've won 6 straight titles. But, John, we're playing in Berks County. All the businesses are named Burke's Hardware and Burke's Burgers. We're eating Burke's hot dogs here in Reading, Pennsylvania. As a matter of fact, everybody watches USA on Burke's Cable. That means it's home territory for the Burkes.
It's a big home advantage, and I think it's going to really count, because if this is the year to beat the National Academy, they've won 6 in a row. I think this is the year it can be done. But once again, the Parkettes, they're very strong, and they come from Allentown, Pennsylvania, 45 minutes away from here. They have a very big contingent showing up with a very strong team, and I think the competition is going to be very close. The semifinals, Alan, there was only a point and a half separating the top 3 teams. It's going to be very close.
And again, the key performers that we want to watch are the Stallones and the Tracy Talaveras. But who else? Who could be a dark horse here tonight, perhaps?
Well, I think that the youngsters are going to really determine the competition here. You have with the Parkettes, Tracy Butler. She's the #1 junior gymnast in the United States. But once again, there's going to be a lot of pressure and a lot of responsibility with the older kids. Michelle Goodwin did extremely well in the quarterfinals and the semifinals. She was the top gymnast in both of those meets. And I think the older kids have a lot of responsibility, and most of the pressure's on them.
Well, we invite you to stay tuned. If you talk about Tracy Butler, you're talking about someone who comes up to about here, and to look at someone like that and see the talent that she possesses, and the fact that the hopes of the United States at one point could rest on those little shoulders, it's amazing.
I think it's great, and these types of competitions will really help these kids prepare for the 1984 Olympic Games. And there's an awful lot of pride that goes into this competition. This is for the team championship.
Well, stay tuned. Inside this arena, thanks in part to our television lights, the temperature will be over 100 degrees, and that's going to add a little extra problem to the gymnasts. We invite you to stay tuned as we bring you the finals of the 1983 USAIGC National Team Championships from Pennsylvania, Dutch country. All that is valuable is kept in the vault. And for the 4 teams that begin the final competition today, it will be very valuable to get off to a great start in the vaulting competition. And the competition begins with little Tracy Butler, the top junior gymnast in the United States, 14 and under. Here she is for the team that finished #1 after the semifinals, the Parkettes. But we begin with a clean slate today. All those scores are forgotten.
Good strong run. Sukahara with a full twist. Just a slight step forward. And this is a very good vault for Tracy Butler. Half turn on, back somersault with a full twist.
She just didn't come over enough, didn't she?
No, she really should have landed in more of a straight up position. She was kind of short, and a big step forward.
9.45 on vault #1. And now her second opportunity as she chalks up and gets ready. With that smile on her face, you wouldn't think that she was feeling the pressure.
Oh, it's a good first vault, and the best of 2 counts. Another Sukahara with full twist. I thought that might have been slightly better in some respects, but not quite as good as the other vault, in respect that as she landed, she really was pretty low to the mat, squatting really way down. Look how close she was.
Tracy Butler's second tally, a 9.25. She'll keep the first score, 9.45, and off we go. We'll stay with the Parkettes for now and move to Tracy Hinkle on the Tracy triumvirate of this Parkettes team.
Handspring, half turn, back somersault. A good vault, just one big hop forward.
We've seen Tracy Butler. Now Tracy Hinkle, and Tracy Kalora is coming up.
Handspring, half turn, back somersault, and that hop forward. And on vault, Alan, they're looking for good execution, good form, and as much distance and amplitude away from the horse.
Some other events are going on, and this packed house is responding to them. They're not getting ready for Tracy Hinkle's second attempt, as she is. She received a 9.30 first attempt. Here we go.
It's going to be another handspring, half turn, back somersault. A slightly better vault. I think she just had more distance and amplitude away from the horse. Watch the push on the handspring, the half turn, back somersault. Still a slight hop forward, but a slightly better vault.
For Tracy Hinkle, a 9.50. She's the leader. Stepping onto the runway now for the Parkettes is a lady with a long resume in gymnastics, Gina Stallone of the Parkettes, 17 years old. She just got some of her scholastic finals out of the way, and now she's in the gymnastic variety.
And it's going to be a Sukahara with a full twist, and Gina has had problems on this vault in the quarterfinals, semifinals, and this was the best one that she's performed. But even then, you could see that she was not really standing the vault up. She was kind of low and took a step forward.
The score for Gina on attempt number 1 is 9.40. John, as we look at her second attempt, let's explain a little bit about amplitude and distance. It's something you frequently mention. So it is very important to the scoring and to the success of the gymnasts in this event.
Absolutely.
The score to beat right now is a 9.5. Tracy Hinkle got that. We're down to 4 teams. Parkettes, Berks, National Academy, and the Marva teams.
There'll be another Sukahara with a full twist. Okay, now, Alan, you can see that she landed on one knee and her hands touched the floor. Now, that's a major deduction. Now, the distance, you try to get as far away from the horse as possible. You can see that she wasn't very high off the horse. That's the amplitude. So one must have a lot of distance away from the horse, as far up as possible away from the horse, and try to get as high above the horse as possible. This amplitude and distance.
For Gina Stallone, a forgetful number, 8.95. She'll keep the 9.4. And now, a young lady who has really dazzled us at times in the quarterfinals and the semifinals, Tracy Kalor.
Watch her distance and her amplitude away from the horse. Sukahara with a full twist, a perfect landing, and almost perfect vault. Watch, as her body twists, how far away from the horse she gets, and as she twists, look how she stands up the vault. Just a slight little hop backwards. Excellent first attempt.
Excellent indeed. 9.70. For this youngster who's proving 13 is a lucky age. Parkettes getting off to a fine start here. In spite of that 8.95 by Gina Stallone, she did keep a 9.4. So up to this point, the Parkettes have started with a 9.45, a 9.5, a 9.4, and now at least a 9.7.
Sukahara with a full twist also, but you can see she lost control. She's making a face because she knows she stepped off the mat, and that will be a significant deduction. Sukahara laid out, full twist, a little hopping around, and then off the mat.
And then the coach came over and gave her a little pat on the behind and said, "Get out of here, you got a 9.7.
There's Donna Strauss, one of the coaches at the Parkettes.
18-year-old Cheryl Weatherstone is the reigning champion of Great Britain, but she trains with the Berks of Reading, Pennsylvania. The Berks displaced the National Academy in second place in the semifinals. Let's see what they can do here in the finals.
Sukahara with a full twist again. And this is a very difficult vault. But Alan, it just seems that everybody's just doing it so easily. Here's the half turn on. Look at the arm going across Cheryl's chest. Very quick twisting action. And a pretty good landing. Only one big step backwards.
The coach of the Berks is Tom McCarthy. I'm sure we'll get a glimpse of him He is a very dedicated man and very concerned with the development of his young gymnasts in areas far beyond gymnastics. Second attempt for Cheryl Weatherstone. She got a 9.5 on the first attempt.
There'll be another Sukahara full twist. Look at the arm wrap across the chest on the full. This wasn't quite as good a vault as the first attempt because as you can see, she lost control of the landing. Watch the wrap across the chest on the back tuck. Sukahara with the full twist. Tom is not only the coach, he's also the meet director and the promoter of this event, and this is one of the finest USAIGC events that I've ever been to. A full crowd here today with an awful lot of enthusiasm.
Cheryl kept her first score 9.5 as we move on to Amy Appler, first attempt. Amy did so well in the floor exercise in the semifinals, getting herself a 9.7.
Handspring front somersault, and she just blocked and popped off the horse. Let me explain the blocking action. Watch how she pushes off the horse and her body lifts up in the air. That's amplitude and distance.
Nicely done by Amy Appler. 9.55. That will put her, for now, in second place with her second attempt upcoming. Look how intently her teammates watch.
It'll be another handspring front somersault. Handspring front somersault, way up there. What a great vault. Can't get much better than that. Look at the lift, way up there. Great distance and really nailed that landing.
What a great start for Amy Appler, 9.70. That ties her for the lead. She will, of course, keep that score, the best of the two. What a great start the Burks are off to, bringing smiles to their fans for sure. And now to someone who can really turn one on herself, Michelle Goodwin.
Handspring with a full twist on the horse and a full twist off the horse.
Tom McCarthy chats with his talented gymnast.
Have to really maintain your foot alignment and toe point.
For vault number one, Michelle Goodwin gets a 9.40. Michelle was the top gymnast in the quarters and the semis, winning the all-around both times. Here she goes, second attempt.
Let's see if she can keep her leg form together a little bit better. I think you'll see a better score. Full twist on, full twist off. It certainly looked a little better in the form department to me. And take a second look at it. Full turn on, full turn off, handspring.
Well, John, the judges thought it was 0.15 of a point better. 9.55. That is the score that Michelle Goodwin will keep. The winner of 6 international gold medals last year sits down, only enhancing the Burke start here in the vault. More to come, as will the 4 teams that were watching in the finals here at Reading, Pennsylvania. But, of course, the bigger, the better. Ollie Blumberg will be the first performer for the Marvatines.
And we're going to see a Sukahara in layout position. Coach Gary Anderson giving her a little bit of advice there. Sukahara in layout position, straight body. And this vault was really invented and performed and perfected by Sukahara, the great Japanese male gymnast.
The Marvatines get their name from their location, Maryland, Marv, VA for Virginia. That's the area of the country they're from. Allison Ollie Blumberg. Second attempt.
Probably be another Sukahara, half turn on, layout position, back somersault off. That was a better vault. That's what we call standing the vault up. High back layout, pretty well standing it straight, and really nails that landing.
$9.55 for Ollie Blumberg, and high fives as well. To her teammate now, Cheryl Kaneshiro of the Marvatines. Still that score to beat, held by two gymnasts, 9-7-0.
And she has been a real surprise in the quarterfinals and semifinals. A very talented youngster, and there's a Sukahara with a full twist, and just really well performed. I've been very impressed with this youngster. Here it is, a Suka half turn on, back somersault with a full twist. And as you notice, just one hop backwards. A lot of distance, a lot of amplitude away from the horse.
9.65, missing the top by only 5/100ths. John, she's not only done it here in the vault, but she, as you said, has impressed us on the beam, floor exercise.
And I liked her bars, and we'll see her later on in the bar routine, and she's done a marvelous job in the all-around.
Well, Cheryl will try and chalk another one up for herself. Second attempt.
Really impressed with the Marvatines, the way they've come along so strongly in the last few years. Powerful run. Sukahara with a full turn, and you can see that was a little short, and she took a one big step forward. Didn't get as far away from the horse as the first vault. Half turn, full twisting Sukahara, one big step forward.
Second score will not top the first. It will be a 9.45. She will keep the first tally, 9.65. And the Marvatines are on their way. They received a 9.55 from Ollie Blumberg, now a 9.65 from Cheryl Kaneshiro, as we slide on over to the defending champion National Academy, Yolanda Mavety.
There she goes. Powerful run. Sukahara laid out position.
Now, if you've been with us, you know that man is Dick Mulvihill. He is the coach of the National Academy team, but he's trying to fill the void left by some key injuries to his team.
Good ball, just a little lack of control at the very ending. Let's see if Yolanda can improve on that.
9.40 score.
Some of the terms we're using when we say layout, straight body position, and that was her first ball. Sukahara in laid out body position. Sukahara laid out body position. In fact, she traveled so far back, she almost went off the mat. A little lack of control at the ending, but great distance away from the horse.
Mavety receives a 9.50. That's the score she will keep. Full house here at Albright College. Mary Houghton from the National Academy, her first appearance on our coverage of the USAIGC National Team Championships for '83.
A handspring front somersault, and Mary really controlled the landing and had good distance away from the horse. Handspring front somersault. She pushes off the horse, nice tight tuck position, grabbing her knees, and a good landing.
Mary is 15 years old, receiving a 9.50 for her first attempt. She lives in the city where the National Academy comes from, Eugene, Oregon. The Burks team is from right here in Reading, Pennsylvania. The Parkettes are from Allentown. And the Marvatines, as we told you, come from Maryland.
Mary performed the handspring front somersault in tuck position. And another handspring front somersault in tuck position. A little short on that one, Alan. She stepped backwards, and here's a tuck position. Watch how she grabs her knees, forms a little ball, and the step backwards.
Just looking at how cool most of these young ladies have remained, you do not know that it's about 100 degrees out there. 9.40 for Mary Houghton on her second attempt. She'll keep the 9.5 from vault number 1. They looked mesmerized, didn't they? Cindy Cole's up next for the National Academy. He's got a lot of spunk.
Sukahara laid it around, and then at the very last moment, piked it down, bending in the hip. Half turn on, throws the head back, pulls it around with the legs. You know, you're mentioning how warm it's in here, and the fact that the gymnasts look so cool. Well, I'll tell you, Alan, during the summer months, the gymnasts do not work out in an air-conditioned gym. The gyms are very large building spaces, and they're not air-conditioned, and these kids really get used to it. No, not only that, but it's not necessarily a bad thing for the muscles to work out in a warm environment, not in gymnastics.
Well, for most of these teams that have to scramble to get their dollars together to make trips like this one to Reading, Pennsylvania, air conditioning is an unnecessary luxury. Here's Cindy Cole's second attempt.
Sukahara laid out position, a little better landing on that, therefore I think you'll see a better score. But it's interesting how she performs the ball. Half turn on, pushes off, lays it around straight body, and pikes it around at the last moment.
And for Cindy Cole, a 9.45 as Tom McCarthy, our host and the coach of the Berks Academy, looks on. He's been a busy man putting this one on. And for Cindy Cole, her final score will be that second tally, 9.45. And one more competitor to watch. Julianne Brumbaugh of the National Academy. John, considering how this event goes by literally in the blink of an eye, is it the most difficult to judge?
It's actually, I think, one of the easiest things to judge, because there are events like bars where you have so many different combinations and skills going in at one time. Sukahara with a full twist. I mean, it's just one basic skill being performed. On bars, you have many skills that are being performed, and each one has to be evaluated separately. Here you have one skill being performed with one basic evaluation.
9.45, vault number one. There are 4 judges for each of the events. They remove the top score and the low score, and the final score would be the average of the middle two. Second attempt now for Julianne Brumbaugh.
As she does the Sukahara, not in laid out position and not in pike position, she does it in tuck position, bringing her knees to her chest. And her form was a little weak on the last one. Her landing could display a little more control. Let's see how the second ball. A lot of speed going in. Good tuck position, better landing, just a slight hop backwards. This was a very good ball.
Certainly seemed like an improvement from the first.
Watch this. Sukahara full twist. A slight hop backwards.
Her score, however, hops forwards to a 9.60, and that is the score that Julianne will keep. So the final standings in the vaulting competition here in Reading, Pennsylvania. Tracy Kalor and Amy Appler of the Berks tied at the top for 9.7. Cheryl Kaneshiro of the Marvatines finishing in third, 9.65. The team scores after one event feature the Parkettes leading the Berks as these two teams from Pennsylvania battle. Only 5/100ths of a point separate them. The National Academy and the Marvatines third and fourth. Coming up on USA in the finals of the USAIGC, bars. We'll be back. 2 strips of fiberglass, everything that the competition so far is not. Uneven. And that's the next challenge for these young gymnasts in Reading, Pennsylvania. Al Trautwig along with John Trietta in the USAIGC finals for the National Team Championships. Here's Yolanda Mavety as we start off with the National Academy. Coach Dick Mulvihill will pull the springboard away as off she goes.
I'm really impressed by the swing elements, the moves from one bar to the next, the giant swings that they perform now. There's a toe on, toe off, here's a giant swing, and of course the flips. And watch this, a front somersault. It's a great way for a team to start. Yolanda's doing a great routine, toe on front 1.5. A slight little stumble on the landing, but not too bad. A smooth routine. Toe on, toe off, and watch this, Alan. Here's a giant swing, and now she'll take her hands and go cross change, cross her hands over, does a half turn at the bottom to a front somersault.
How much of a deduction is it if she lands on our cameraman, John? 9.45 for Yolanda Mavety. That's a good start for the National Academy. You can see the judges and the security personnel, as well as the little helpers seen scampering around, are all wearing the clothing indicative of the Amish country, which is where we are. Julianne Brumbaugh.
She works very quick on the bars. Very snappy performer. Watch this front somersault coming up. Big front somersault. Getting set for her dismount. Giant swing. Another giant swing. Toe on, front somersault with a half turn.
Tracy zipped through that one.
Not bad. National Academy is making a push for the top spot. Here's the hop and the handstand and the front somersault in straddle position.
And it's a little cooler outside than it is inside. 9.50 for Julianne Brumbaugh. Tracy Talavera with a score to beat, 9.50. She hasn't been at her peak, really, I don't think, at any point during this competition so far. Do you, John?
Well, I thought that she did a good job in semifinals. She scored a 38 plus in the all-around. That's pretty substantial. But in her quarterfinal performances, that she didn't really perform up to par. But here, a good routine. A dismount, a combination, 1.5 twists.
Tracy Talavera, who is attempting to help her National Academy team, and they will need every 10th they can muster. They're in 3rd place after one event. Here's another look.
Here she's in the handstand. A 1.5 twisting pirouette. Look at that bar bend. Back up to a top bar to a free hip handstand. Very pretty.
And for Tracy Talavera, she ties the top score with a 9.50. Take a look at this piece of videotape, if you will. The lady in front is Donna Strauss. Behind her, her dedicated gymnasts, hands clasped, weaving, and they're very much behind their coach. Here's John.
This lady has been chasing Dick Mulvihill now for 6 years. And Donna, this year I think you want to catch him. It's pretty close, huh?
Well, we wanted to catch him every year, but we really have a good shot this year, and we're going after it.
Now, I understand you have a secret weapon this year. It's called... Parquet Power? What is Parquet Power? That's what I want to know.
Well, it's going to be 6 young ladies tonight that are going to be dynamite from the start to the finish.
Right. And what's the key tonight?
Well, they're going after it. They're going to be aggressive, and they all want to win, too.
John, if you ever have to sneeze, I hope you unravel your own handkerchief faster than you did that. Tracy Kalor, who has really been a favorite with John and I during the competition so far, is up for the parquets. Score to beat, 9.5.
Tracy's been one of the gymnasts that I've been very much impressed with. Been extremely consistent. Just an excellent performer on every event. Double back somersault. Another superb routine.
She's done it again. The Parquettes have a 13-year-old winner on their hands.
Stole the chute into the handstand. Giant swing to a double back somersault.
.940, lower than I thought it would be.
I tend to agree with you. I thought that was a better routine than the score reflected.
Here's another Tracy. Tracy Hinkle of the Parquettes.
into the handstand, giant swing, and watch the somersault coming up. Half turn, front somersault, and straddle position. Way up there, very aggressively performed. Parkettes really want to win this event this year. They've been after it for 6 years in a row. A front somersault with a half turn. And there's those Parkette fans.
These fans are seeing red. And Tracy Hinkle hopes to see a high score.
Here's this very aggressively performed front somersault. Half turn at the bottom, front semi-tap.
Average together, Tracy Hinkle's two middle scores come out to a 9.50. And we have three gymnasts now who are tied at the top. That was the score to beat, and still is, for Cindy Rosenberry, also of the Parkettes. Cindy is 14 years old.
Good handstand position, full pirouette to a giant swing. Good transition from one bar to the next, transition to the low bar. Coming back into the top bar, preparing for her dismount. Handstand, free hip handstand, giant swing, double back somersault, giant swing down. Parkettes are really psyched and popping one routine after the next. Here's the full turn on one bar into an immediate giant swing. A difficult combination requiring really good knowledge of swing and balance. And here is this neat little transition from the top bar, and watch how she swings back out to the low bar into the handstand.
Looking at some of these scores from the judges, I think we've got ourselves the new leader. We do. 9.65 for Cindy Rosenberry. That tops the previous best at 9.5. And here is the final performer for the Parkettes that we'll see, Gina Stallone. And Gina has been absolutely superb, winning the all-around in the quarters and the semis. And this is an event she loves.
Free hip handstand to a front somersault after the bar beat. Gina's being very aggressive on the bars. Handstand. Double pirouette on one bar.
She's shifting through the gears, but she's not even clutching. She's just going for it.
And her dismount. Free hip back somersault off the bar. Just a slight step to the side. A great routine, and I'll tell you, Alan, that combination on the bar where she does a double pirouette on one bar is very unusual. Parkettes are certainly showing their power.
Well, they certainly are.
And just a little bit excited.
Well, this routine deserves another look. That's for sure.
Here's the handstand double pirouette. Count it on one bar. Look how she has to keep on changing her hands. A neat little move in the middle of her routine.
And for Gina Stallone, a 9.70, so the Parkettes tied the score to beat the score to beat, and now have topped it again. The Parkettes are on the way. 18 years old, Cheryl Weatherstone is the old lady of this competition. She'll be stepping to the bars for the Burks. But as you can see in our coverage of this event, they have sold a bunch of tickets for this final.
This has been a true rivalry between the Burks and the Parkettes, with the National Academy in there as the defending champions. This is the best crowd I've ever seen for a USAIGC event. It is absolutely packed, but with an enthusiastic and well-educated gymnastic crowd.
Cheryl Weatherstone has applied the chalk like you and I would apply the suntan oil. She's ready to go.
Kip into the handstand, stole the shoot. Another handstand, giant swing. Another giant swing. Straddle over the low bar, flying over that low bar. Getting a little stuck at this position here, Alan. She's just lost a little bit of her continuity. Her dismount, toe on front somersault off over the low bar. Aside from getting stuck at that little point which shows a lack of rhythm, I thought this was a pretty good routine. Here is a giant swing. Another giant swing. And watch the straddle over the low bar, flying over that low bar.
And until you stand right next to the bars from the side and watch how close these competitors come to that low bar, you can't appreciate how talented and how skilled they are. 9.25 for Cheryl Weatherstone. That score to beat is still a 9-7. This is Kim Hillner of the Burks.
Kim has been an excellent performer throughout the entire championship here. Free hip to the handstand, pirouette. Working way to the high bar again. Getting set for her dismount, free hip. Straddle, stall her down. Half turn back somersault for a dismount. No major errors, kept good leg form, good toe point, fairly good continuity in the routine.
She did what looked to be a very unique move in the middle. She climbed from the high bar to the low bar. Was it that unique?
It's called a Christ Kier, and it was a nice move, yes. It wasn't one that I would say it was highly rated as far as difficulty value. Half turn back somersault off for a dismount.
Well, at one point, Kim's score was the leading score, but not any longer. 9.50 for her. She is 17 years old. The Burks team is a little older compared to the others. Michelle Goodwin, 17, as is Kim Hillner. 18 is Weatherstone, and Amy Appler is 14. And we're going to look at Amy Appler, who really nailed a beautiful vault for a 9-7 earlier in our program. There's Tom McCarthy, the coach of the Burks, pulling the springboard away.
Back to the low bar, stall to shoot. He's performing very nicely at this point, and I think that as the meet continues and as these competitions have continued, Amy Appler keeps on getting stronger. Free hip, front somersault off, just a little out of control on the landing. Otherwise, an excellent routine. And Alan, here's a kid who's now just starting to come into her own. She got so much stronger since last year and demonstrating so much more confidence. A free hip, front somersault, in tuck position, the landing a little out of control. Every step a 10th deduction.
And isn't that what this type of competition is supposed to do? Bring out the true competitors? Amy Appler, a 9.30. And one competitor to go. And we've really saved the best for last. Michelle Goodwin.
Well, you always want the good competitors on your team, Alan. I'll say there's nothing more nerve-wracking than beam, and that's the next event. So easy to fall off. And some of the coaches hold their breath. Now, Michelle started off with a Goodwin mount. So far, just a perfect routine. So precise.
You know what I want to know, John, is how do you envision something like that, and then how the heck do you do it for the very first time?
It's great dismount. This is a great routine. Alan, sometimes a coach and the gymnasts have an idea to try something that hasn't been done before. If they do it, the move is named after them internationally. And this is what it is, a good one. It's a round off onto the board, and now she goes up in the air, half turn, front somersault. It's an Arabian somersault, bounces off the low bar, and continues. It's imagination, and this is what the sport's all about. It promotes the evolution of the sport of gymnastics. The sport is progressing at such a rapid rate because of kids and coaches like this.
Well, the first few times Michelle did it, I'm sure it was fun to watch. 9.65 for her, just off the leading pace. But a good wrap-up for the Burks of Reading. And now Cheryl Kaneshiro of the Marvatines, the fourth and final qualifier for this four-team final competition.
Aren't you impressed, Alan, with the amount of ability on all the different levels and all the teams?
I'll tell you what I'm impressed with, John, the most is how the level of competition has grown from the quarterfinals to this.
It's great.
It really shows me how these gymnasts have the ability to turn it on when they need it.
Cheryl is so psyched on her front on the somersault that she just performed. Her heel hit the top bar and didn't even phase her and didn't stop her moving. Free handstand, double back somersault, a great routine.
Cheryl has continuously turned in great routines throughout all three levels of this meet.
Here's a straddle over the low bar, right into the handstand, a giant swing, and watch, she hits the low bar on, the high bar on with her right foot. Just nipped it.
Well, we'd have to say that Cheryl is one of the stars to come out of this meet. 9.45 for her. Right near the top, but not quite. Here are the final standings on uneven bars. Gina Salone, Michelle Goodwin, and Cindy Rosenberry, 1, 2, and 3. In the all-around competition between these young gymnasts, Michelle Goodwin right on top again by only a tenth. And then look at that, a four-way tie between Brumbaugh, Stallone, Kaneshiro, and Tracy Killar. The team standings after two events, it's the Parkettes by 75 hundredths over the Burks and the National Academy and the Marvatines. Can the National Academy be deposed? After 6 long years, we will see. Coming up next, step number 3 in the road to what may be a new champion in Reading, Pennsylvania is only 4 inches wide. And those marvelous teens from the Marvatines will be on the beam first. This is Susie Silverman.
And here's this very young gymnast, only 11 years old, finding herself in there with the big guys.
At age 11, she is one of the youngest qualifiers for the 1983 USA Championships. So perhaps this is a name we'll be hearing more frequently.
Back handspring, back layout. Well, these are the youngsters that are really will be on the scene and will be maturing for the next Olympic Games for 1988.
You saw how close it was between the Parkettes and the Burks and the National Academy. A lot can change in 2 events.
Side aerial.
Whoops.
And that's how things could change, Alan. A 5/10 deduction like that really could make things, will change the entire picture at times.
So close to her dismounted. Dismount for Susie Silverman, and she doesn't look too happy about it.
Here's a back handspring, back somersault, stretched out, slightly out of balance, but hung on there.
And the judges give Susie an 8.80, and that, for what I'm sure will be a very brief moment, is the score to beat. And I'm looking forward to see what Cheryl Kaneshiro has for us this time.
A round off onto the beam. Great crowd here.
Look at them standing on the upper deck there.
Straddle jump. I'm sorry, split leap that was. Set for a tumbling move, back handspring, back layout. Cheryl is is really rising to the occasion here, competing against some of the best gymnasts in the United States and excelling. Must be very encouraging for Coach Gary Anderson to see this.
John, there's no time element involved here, is there?
Yes, there is. And getting set for the dismount, round off, double twisting back somersault.
Consistently smooth, Cheryl Kaneshiro. Here's a replay.
And here's her back handspring, back somersault in layout position.
And for Cheryl Kaneshiro, 9.35. So we've seen only a couple of beam competitors, but we will continue straight ahead on USA. Yourself too and been successful at something for 6 straight years. Then all of a sudden, the threat of it slipping away. A true pro certainly knows how to deal with that, and one talks right now with John Trietta.
Dick Mulvihill is the head coach of the National Academy, and Dick, it gets tougher every year. You won this event 6 years in a row, but this year is going to be a tough one. Why?
We just don't have our horses, John. We've had some severe injury throughout the season, and out of the 6 girls that we had last year that won, we only have 2 coming back. Our number 2, 3, and 4 girls are we're without them in competition. Tanya Service, who I feel is one of the top gymnasts that I've ever had. Tiffany Quincy is another exceptional gymnast, and Donna Wilson. So we're back here really with a hard row to hoe, a pretty inexperienced group, a group that doesn't quite have the strength that we've had in the past.
But
hey,
you know, I'll tell you something. Go ahead, all right. But just that fighting spirit, right?
We can still take them.
Dick Mulvihill watching on the sidelines as Julianne Brumbaugh hopes to do just that. Take him. We're on the beam. Score to beat, 9.35.
Still an extremely close competition, Alan, and I think Dick really has this fighting spirit, and so do his kids. And here they are in the top 4 teams in the United States again. And the key here for the National Academy, don't fall off. Handspring, back layout. That's the only real deduction that I've seen so far. Slight out-of-control wobble on the landing.
John, we're hearing the music in the background, which is for floor exercise performance not related to this one. Couldn't that music throw someone on the beam or on another event off a little bit?
Look, I think really that this is the way gymnastics is. This is the way competition goes in gymnastics. And double back somersault onto a crash, and that's a big deduction there. Alan, there's large crowds. There's sometimes small crowds. There's sometimes warm gyms and cold gyms. Sometimes there's different equipment. Sometimes the gymnast is not feeling up to par, but they have to learn how to deal with all these various situations. Back handspring. Back somersault, just a slight out-of-control wobble. That plus her dismount are 2 of the biggest deductions in this routine.
And for Julianne Brumbaugh, a disappointing 8.75. Those are disappointed eyes we're looking at. To her teammate now, Yolanda Mavidi. It's the 3rd event. That was not a good way for the National Academy to start it off.
right into the handstand, demonstrating balance and strength, and now a planche.
Look at the way those people are packed in the corner there.
Very popular championship going on here. Generated an immense amount of interest. Back handspring, back handspring. Superbly done. Alan, a good routine so far. Back layout. Solid. Dismount. Double twisting back somersault. A little sloppy on the landing. That was the major deduction that I saw in this routine. But it's a routine that the National Academy really needed. This will score well. And here's the back layout.
And for Yolanda Mavety, 9.40. That will give just a little bit of breathing room to the National Academy squad. And you can see what a large crowd we have here in the gymnasium on the campus of Albright College in Reading, PA. And now to Tracy Talavera.
Now, if anybody could deliver a score, it's Tracy Talavera. Round off back handspring onto the beam. 1980 Olympian, American Cup winner, champion of the United States, and a bronze medal winner at the World Championships last year.
You know, we talked about that music in the background before. If I didn't know any better, I'd say that she was performing this to that music. That's not for her.
I'm sure Tracy could barely hear the music right now. She's concentrating so hard. A flare. Straddle split. Side aerial. Back layout, and really solid. This is a great routine. And her dismount, round off, back handspring, full twisting back somersault.
Bullseye. Go out on the limb, John, and give me your guess.
Oh, it's going to be well up in the nines, a high 9 score. And here's a side aerial, and this is why. Look at the performance. Consistent, solid, rhythm, high difficulty levels. Way up in the 9s.
Tracy Talavera goes outside for a breath of cool, fresh air. 9.80 is the score she leaves in the gymnasium. For the other competitors to look at. On to the Parkettes, who came into this third event #1 in the team competition. This is Tracy Hinkle.
National Academy came in with some good routines. Just one fall, and now it's up to the Parkettes. You could sense they really want this championship. Back handspring, back layout. Tracy Hinkle, tough competitor. Doing a superb job in the first 2 events, and so far in the 3rd event, he's right up there. one thing about a team competition, you could hear all the gymnasts on the teams cheering for the gymnast that's competing. In front somersault, almost lost it. But you see how she fought that landing, Alan, and she'll pick up maybe a 10th deduction on it. Dismount, double twisting back somersault. Really nailed that landing. This could be a better start for the Parkettes. And the dismount, double twisting back somersault with a fine landing.
Tracy Hinkle gets herself a 9.45. That's a good, solid score for the Parkettes, who are trying to maintain their lead. Now to my favorite, Tracy Butler. Score to beat is still that 9-8 that Tracy Talavera scored.
Watch this pirouetting action. That's one time around. And 2 times around. Still in the handstand, straddles down. Back extension to the handstand. Tumbling move, round off, back somersault layout position, and just missed the beam. Totally, almost. Barely got her feet on the beam. Now, for somebody who hasn't missed very much, I know she might be your favorite gymnast, Alan, but the judges have to be objective, and she gets a 5/10 deduction.
Now, this is one time the Butler didn't do it.
Side aerial. Well, what I find very rewarding about her performance is that she had a fall, but she got up there very businesslike and continuing like it didn't happen.
Look at the strength in those arms.
Crowd likes it. Round off, double twisting back somersault. It was a great beginning, a great finish, just that one nasty little fall in the middle of the routine.
Well, let's add 5/10 after we see this replay and think of what may have been.
Just off to the side, almost missed the feet, just way out of balance. No chance even to fight it a little bit.
For Tracy Butler, a 9.15. So without the fall, it may have been a 9.65, but it's not, and we move on to Cindy Rosenberry.
Well, that's one big fall, and the Parkettes could ill afford too many misses on beam. We'll see how Cindy does.
Cindy is 14 years old. In the 1981 USA Championships, she finished 6th in the beam competition. She has the ability to turn in a good score.
Tumbling move, round off back handspring. Very pretty. A lot of control. Front aerial, not a wobble. This is an almost perfect routine so far. Handspring, back layout. Pretty neat stuff. A dismount, round off, double twisting back somersault. A great routine.
Cindy Rosenberry keeps the Parkettes' hopes up.
Watch this. Front aerial. Not a hesitation or a wobble.
A 9.70 for Cindy Rosenberry, 1/10 behind the score to beat, so that will put her in second place for now. On to Gina Stallone. Every single one of these girls is pretty, John.
Front somersault onto the end of the beam. I think Gina scored something like a 9.7 or 9.8 in the semifinals on this event. She's capable of doing an absolutely marvelous routine on the balance beam. Getting set for a tumbling move, a round off back tuck.
Oh boy.
You'd hear the crowd go, oh.
What a time for the Parkettes to have
Another fall.
2 falls, costing them a full point. Now, 5/10 each.
This competition is close enough. The Parkettes have just made it a little bit closer. Up front somersault. How would you like to have had one fall in your routine and then have to do a front somersault? No way. And her dismount. Double back somersault. And Louise does backwards, but she fought it. It would be so easy for her to sit down on that. Aside from the fall, Alan, she's going to receive at least another 2 or 3 tenth deduction on the dismount. Let's take a look. Round off, back tuck. Left shoulder was over the beam too far, wasn't centered, and a big fall.
And a low score, 9.20 for Gina Stallone. And now to the green team of the Burks. First, 18-year-old Cheryl Weatherstone from Great Britain.
And you mentioned to me earlier how much time does the gymnast have to spend on the balance beam, and I guess it could be an eternity. But the real time is that it cannot be shorter than 1 minute and 10 seconds or longer than 1 minute and 30 seconds, and that can be a very long time indeed. A full turn, one of the requirements on beam. Straddle jump. Back somersault. Back handspring coming up with one arm. I like that. A split leap. Leaps, jumps, turns, all part of the requirements on beam. Back walkover, back handspring, back handspring. Nice acrobatic series.
Look at one of the members of the Burks, I believe it's Michelle Goodwin, head down, hands clasped.
Full twisting back somersault, and it's a good routine for the Burks and for Cheryl Weatherstone. Watch this back somersault coming up. A set, the arm lift, the leg up in the air, rotating the body around. And now, one of my favorite moves that Cheryl does on the beam, a back walk over, and then she does a one-arm back handspring, just one arm touching the beam. A little tricky, a little scary, but she does it real well.
9.45 for Cheryl Weatherstone. Do you think her mother gets USA Network? Here's Kim Hillner of the Burks. Still that score to beat belonging to Tracy Talavera, 9.80. It's going to be very interesting to see how these scores add up, considering the 2 falls that the Parkettes had and that strong Tracy Talavera performance for the National Academy.
Doing a pretty good job on beam. Kim is walking up and down the beam confidently into the handstand position. A little pirouetting action right now.
John, you mentioned before about bonus points, how difficult moves can get you those. Is it therefore possible to exceed a 10?
Not internationally. Nationally, our own federation allows, under certain conditions, a person to get not a score higher than a 10, but start off with a value higher than a 10. And this is to encourage the gymnasts to take risks with their routines, not themselves. 3 back handsprings row, 2 a full twisting back somersault. Now that is an interesting combination, and it has a risk factor to it. 3 back handsprings to a full twist. That's important for bonus points also. The way you perform something with virtuosity, form, grace. These are all the very important elements on all the performances. And here's Kim in a split position, and then kind of changes the split position. Lost a little balance there for a moment, and the judges might see that and pick up maybe a 1/2 of a tenth of a point. This is going to be a good score.
9.45, following in the footsteps of her teammate Cheryl Weatherstone, Kim Hillner. On to Amy Appler. And she would have to think that she has had a fine series of events in the 1983 USAIGC competition.
Well, Amy has had a great series, except in the semifinals on balance beam, she had a fall. Now, if she doesn't fall here and performs a real good routine, it gives the Burks an opportunity to move up to the Parkettes. See the confidence growing in this gymnast. This is what she fell off on in the semifinals, and nailed it this time.
See the smile on her face? Got that over with.
Yeah. A sigh of relief also. Full turn. It could really seem like a long time on the balance beam sometimes. But when you're clicking, you're clicking. And Amy Appler certainly is doing a marvelous job right now and getting set for her dismount round off. Double twisting back somersault. Another good score, another great routine for the Burks. Here's the move that she missed in semifinals that she absolutely nailed. Back handspring, back layout. Way up there. Big smile.
Three straight 9.45s for the Burks. Amy Appler joining Kim Hillner and Cheryl Weatherstone with that score. And that will help out this team from Reading, Pennsylvania, leaving Michelle Goodwin for the home team.
Not a bad position to be in. 3 very good routines by the Burks. And Michelle Goodwin, who's won the all-around, the quarterfinals and semifinals. Scissor split leap. You feel all those eyes on Michelle right now. Look at the crowd. Every pair of eyes watching her performance. Side aerial back handspring. Just a wee bit out of control there, but not very bad. Double turn. Front aerial. And whoop!
Bad timing.
Michelle, almost like, you know, you almost get shocked when you see that. Michelle's performed so many routines without a fault. All of a sudden, out of the blue, comes a fall on a move that she's probably performed so many times and just lost the control of. Here's a dismount, double twisting back somersault, and took 2 steps out of it. This is going to hurt.
It doesn't hurt the National Academy. Let's see what happened here.
Sometimes a lack of concentration. Front aerial, way up there. Didn't get all the way around. Shoulders drifting to the side. Lost of balance, trying to fight it. Can't hang on. Trying, still trying. Got the other foot down, both feet down, but just unable to do it.
And that should make for a close competition all around. Michelle Goodwin only a 9.15, but her teammates helped pull things along. Final standings in the balance beam. Tracy Talavera with that strong performance on top, followed by Cindy Rosenberry of the Parkettes, and then a three-way tie between Amy Appler, Kim Hillner, and Cheryl Weatherstone. In the all-around, after 3 events, if you can believe it, a three-way tie between Amy Appler, Cheryl Kaneshiro of the Marvatines, and Tracy Hinkle of the Parkettes. Parkettes are on top, but not by much, only 3/10. The National Academy in second, the Burks in third, only 1/10 behind them, and then the Marvatines. What a scramble it will be. I was always told to keep my resume down to 1 page. 2 pages made it too complicated. But for Gina Stallone, that would be nearly impossible. She's done so much in gymnastics at such an early age. And right now, she's sitting down for a short chat with John Trietta. John?
Gina Stallone is just fantastic, and I think she's fantastic, but she's had a real difficult year this year. Gina, what happened this year? You looked, it was a rough one for you, wasn't it?
I started out really weak. I had a finger injury, and I was thinking about my weight at the time I had my finger injury because I wasn't training on all 4 events, and I wanted to keep my weight down. So I wasn't eating properly, and I was getting really weak. So in the beginning of the year, I wasn't doing well at all.
Yeah, you look so weak. You basically starving yourself, weren't you?
Yeah. I don't know.
Coaches got angry at you a little bit, I understand. Is that right?
Yeah, they put me on a special diet so I would get all proteins that I needed.
Great. Well, you look really strong now. How's training going now?
It's getting better all the time, and I'm working really hard.
Now, the championships of the United States, that was one of your better meets. I mean, it wasn't your top meet, but you still came in 10th place. But I started seeing the old Gina Stallone. How did it feel?
Well, I feel that I'm getting better, but I'm still not where I was or where I want to be yet.
Is this meet, you seem to be really pretty psyched for this meet. Why?
Our whole team's getting psyched. We want to win it. We've always wanted to win this meet. And we're working as a team now, and we feel that if we do the best that we can and hit all of our routines, that we can win this meet.
Well, I think it's going to be a real challenging event tonight. What event do you think the meet is going to be decided on?
Well, it's always been beam, I guess. And I don't know, we did pretty well the other 2 days, but we still have to work hard on that event.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you. Thanks.
Can the Parkettes hold on? Will the Burks make a move? Or will the National Academy go into their bag of tricks? in floor exercise, the last event, with only 0.4 of a point separating the top 3 spots. The Burks are up first. This is Cheryl Weatherstone, and really Dick Mulvihill and the National Academy, John, have to be wondering, do we have what it takes in this last event to prevent?
Alan, 0.4 of a point, that's so little. And Cheryl starting with very high double back somersault in pike position. Great dance combinations afterwards. Just a small mistake here, a small mistake there, and the whole thing's tied up. These kids have to go out and really try to win.
Just to go back to the Gina Stallone interview for a moment, she reached that crucial point that you and I have been talking about in her life where weight became a problem, changing in her body became a problem. And,
decided to take things in her own hands, but luckily the coaches really wonderful, wonderful people. Bill and Donna Strauss saw this and said, look, Gina, let's get on the right diet and exercise properly, and she's back to her old form. And Cheryl Weatherstone, another great performance. Stated previously in the quarterfinals and semifinals, I believe Cheryl's dismount is a little too weak, and the second pass a little too weak in the tumbling run, but her dance is wonderful to look at. And watch the mount, a high double back somersault in pike position. If she would end with that, I think you'd see much higher scores.
For Cheryl Weatherstone, a 9.35 to start off the competition in this last event. So for now, that is the score to beat to Amy Appler.
And here's a youngster who finds herself leading in the all-around, growing in confidence every competition. And the team screaming out, come on, Amy, let's do it.
Are only a distant echo in her mind.
Arabian to a double back somersault. Great start. We've seen some great crowds this year on USA. The Russians at Penn State, UCLA, Nebraska. The Russians and Japanese at Nebraska. But this crowd is a super duper crowd. Double back somersault. And this is what you have in team competition. Amy's looking like she's having too good of a time out there. Now a dismount. Round off back handspring, double twisting back somersault. It's a good one. Lots of hugs and kisses, huh?
Wish I had a nickel for every one we've seen.
Watch this. Round off back handspring, double back somersault. This was her second pass. And very much under control.
Now with inflation, I wish I had $1 for everyone we've seen. Amy Appler, 9.65. That will be the score to beat, and it may be a tough score to beat. To Michelle Goodwin.
Well, Michelle had a problem on balance beam. Let's see if she can get her stuff together. She starts off with a double, actually a 2.5 twisting back somersault. 2 times around, 2.5, and that is an error. As we saw in the quarterfinals and semifinals, she did a handspring out of it, lost control here, and did a forward roll out of a 2.5 twisting back somersault. That's a deduction, Alan. Round of back handspring, full twisting, step out. Brace, extension, all the requirements. And performing on stage to this really great crowd. Her dismount, double twisting back somersault. Not one of Michelle's better efforts, but still a pretty good routine. Watch this mount, Alan. She lost control and did a forward roll out of a 2.5 twisting back somersault. Here she loses it, forward roll. Onto her back. Approximately 2/10 deduction.
And the score for Michelle Goodwin is a 9.35. And things don't look too good for the Burks right now. They have that 9.35, another one, and 1.965 of the competitors that we've seen. We slide on over now to the Marva teams. This is Cheryl Kaneshiro,
who is one of the leaders in the all-around, and this must be just a tremendous surprise to Cheryl, and it will encourage her over the next year. Gary Anderson and the Marva team must be very proud of Cheryl, and here is a double back somersault in tight position, but you know, she almost buckled her knee right out over there.
little bodies take a pounding, John. They really do.
Real heavy landing on that. Second pass. Triple twisting back somersault. Woo! Now, she didn't do that in the first two competitions, so she's just going all out.
Is from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Round off back handspring, double twisting back somersault. A high energy routine. Let's watch one of her tumbling movements. A round off back handspring, triple twisting back somersault 3 times. Easy to get lost up there, and she did get lost just slightly. Didn't finish the triple twisted totally.
Very good score for Cheryl Kaneshiro in view of the problems that she did have. A 9.50. Still, that score to beat is a 9.65. And now, if there's a move to be made, it will have to be made here, beginning with Cindy Cole and the big band music. Let's see if she's in the mood for a big score.
Double back somersault, tuck position, a great landing, great start.
In the quarters and the semis, Cindy received a 9.4 for this.
1.5 twisting back somersault to a full twisting back somersault. I'd say this is her best performance so far in all the competitions. Here's a change of pace, a little poetry, an interlude, and also a rest before the third pass. Music to dance with. Round off back handspring, double twisting back somersault. This was a fine routine. That's going to be a great help to the National Academy.
Very nice indeed. Cindy Cole of the National Academy.
Watch this mount. Round off, back handspring. Double back somersault, tuck position, knees to the chest. An exceptional landing. Really nailed it.
So 15-year-old Cindy Cole gets a 9.55. Still to come. Only a few more competitors and a few tenths of a point separate the top three teams. Let's see what Tracy Talavera can do to complicate that situation even more. 9.65 is the score to beat.
First tumbling run for Tracy is the most difficult. A rush in front, round of back handspring, double back somersault, pike position. It's going to be a good routine. I can just tell you from the way she is approaching the first tumbling pass. Our second tumbling pass, a double back somersault. Coming up. Nice, very nice.
She's coming off a 9.8 on the beam. She's hot. If you get cable, you recognize the music in the background. Well, so far, this is picture perfect for Tracy Talavera. I like that part a lot.
A very unusual change of pace. And her dismount, round off back handspring, double twisting back somersault, really under control, and a round off 1.5 twisting dive roll. Not bad. Good to see Tracy and the whole team ending on such a positive note. She had a rough quarterfinals, semifinals, a great job. And the finals, well, look at this. Round of back handspring, double back somersault and pike position. Couldn't be done better.
And so for the 1981 and 82 USA All-Around Champion, a 9.65. And that sets the stage for an exciting ending here. For the Parkettes, though, it's their lead to lose. First up, Tracy Hinkle. Still that score to beat, 9.65.
The determined gymnast, Tracy Hinkle. Doing a great job here today. Double back somersault, pike position, really rotating around quickly. Give this youngster a few more years, a little more maturity, smooth out the dance elements. I think we're going to have a real fine gymnast here. Before you do that jump to a split leap bound, you got to warm up real good. Round off back handspring, double twisting back somersault.
Parkettes need some good, solid scores here. Their lead was but 3/10 coming into this event.
Just the beginning of her routine, she does a triple turn, works her way into the corner, gets set for her first tumbling run. So there are many different aspects to doing a good floor routine. Now she has to run real hard, round off back handspring, double back somersault, pike position, rotating around real fast.
The judges liked it. 9.65 for Tracy Hinkle. A great start for the Parkettes. On now to another one of the Parkette Tracys, Tracy Butler. Tracy had a fall, if you remember, on the beam. She can erase that memory with a fine performance here.
Back handspring, double back somersault. And spears it into the ground, and off she goes. Arabian, round off back handspring, pull, twisting back somersault. Split leap. Pirouetting action, crowd getting behind it. Double twisting back somersault for her dismount. A good routine and one that's going to really help the Parkettes capture this championship for the first time. Here's her mount, round off back handspring, double back somersault, pike position, real pretty form, exceptional landing, and really works out of it with control.
Second straight solid score for the Parkettes, 9.55. And now we come to Gina Stallone. You heard John's conversation with her earlier. Remember how she had dieting problems? Thought she had a weight problem. Well, the coaches rallied behind her. She had a finger problem. As Tracy Talavera wonders whether her 9.65 is good enough. Here we go. Last competitor. This could decide it.
Well, it's a good way to end the competition with Gina Stallone. Watch Gina's tumbling ability and dance ability. Double back somersault. Couldn't be done better. Handspring, 1.5 twisting back somersault to a full twisting back somersault. And I really like the dance combinations in between. Gina's tumbling's improved, but her dancing has really improved from last year. This dismount, she's going to have a great score, way up in the 9. Double back somersault, and nailed it right to the floor. The Parkettes know they got it. This is a great routine.
Gina Stallone was crushed when she fell off the beam. And how can you not admire the way she has responded here?
Watch this first tumbling run. It's a great one. Round off back handspring. Gina really nails it into the ground. Double back somersault in pike position. It's a great start to a great routine.
9.80, add to the great routine, a great score. And that wraps up the competition, but look how close it was. Gina Stallone wins the floor exercise with a 9.8. Tracy Talavera of the National Academy, Tracy Hinkle of the Parkettes, and Amy Appler of the Burks all tied. Gina Stallone, Amy Appler, and Tracy Hinkle all finish tied with 38.1 in the all-around. But who was the winning team? We'll get to that in a moment. It's no secret now, but here are the official final scores in Reading, Pennsylvania at the 1983 USAIGC Team Championships. The Parkettes of Allentown, 189.30. The National Academy dethroned after 6 straight championships, 187.95. Only 6/10 behind them, the Burks of Reading and the Marvatines at 182.60. Certainly an exciting competition here on USA. 3 great days of gymnastics. But you know, the Celtics eventually had to lose. The Islanders had to lose eventually. The Lakers had to face losing. And so, of course, the Islanders will one day have to face a losing game in which they give up the championship. Such is the case with the National Academy here. The Parkettes finally tasting victory after 6 straight National Academy wins in this national championship. John Triet has got the winning coach and the losing coach across the court. John?
Donna, it's been a long chase, 7-year chase, but you finally did it. How does it feel to be the national champions?
Feels great. Oregon has set the pace for us to follow, set a good example. We've been after them for the last 5 years. Feels great to beat Papa.
All right, Papa, let me ask you something. You've defended this championship 6 years in a row. What kind of hints would you give this lovely young lady over here about how to defend this for next year?
Well, I think next year the best thing they should do is not to show up. No kidding. I sure hate to lose, and the kids hated to lose, but we lost to a real great bunch. The parents, the kids, the coaches of the Parkettes are just great people, and the sportsmanship that they showed tonight to us, to the other teams, was fantastic. So we lost to some first-rate champs.
Well, I'll tell you one thing for sure. The kids were fantastic, and they're really champions. And you know why also? The coaches here, they're real champions too. To the finest individuals I know in the United States. Alan, back to you.